time of tahajjud which we find ourselves in, and then with sujood, which we know that the Messenger of Allah والسلام, has mentioned is a time of acceptance. Then imagine these four great tools, times, all aligned. How powerful such a muraqabah would be. So even maybe as we are waiting to begin, just practice doing the muraqabah just for 2, 3, 4 minutes. You can see that even just by closing your eyes, practicing the presence, and then presenting one or two sins, one or two blessings, one or two needs. And remember that maybe the need you can focus on is either the greatest need that you currently feel you have in your life, and again this is the time of acceptance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can open doors that are impossible through His fadila, but also you can focus on the need that we have in the spiritual journey, whether it's the spiritual salah or actually the main thing, which is the purification. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala you can seek His help in the need is something you don't have, so you can visualize that. What would it look like to have this progress and to have this closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What type of person, what type of interactions I would have? You can visualize those and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant them. And then problems, what are things you currently have that you don't want to have? And then any guidance that you require, and packaging all of that and relying on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So again, these are some of the things you can be practiced, and just as we are waiting to start the spiritual salah, inshallah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Inshallah, we'll recap the methodology, and before I do that, can I ask the brothers to form the safs just like we do in prayer, so we are ready. And if you could, is there one row in front of you? Yeah, that's fine. So just fill up the first three rows, inshallah. So the methodology of the spiritual salah, so just so that it's clear on your mind how and what we'll be doing. First, we will begin with the usual preparation amals and cleansing of the lataif and transfer. So this happens before we enter the prayer. So this will be guided, and this time you have been practicing cleansing in the lataif for 3-4 minutes at a time. This time it will be much quicker. So we will focus for a few breaths on each latifa and then move on to the next one. And then once we have completed the preparation, the cleansing and breathing into the latifas and the spiritual centers, then after the golden breath, we will transfer. The Imam will stand and say Allahu Akbar, and then we will stand and say Allahu Akbar. And this is when these images will help kind of the thought process and the spiritual travel. So those who were present in the presentation yesterday, this is just a reminder also to refresh those images, so then the travel is much easier. So the soul follows the thought. So if you can bring your thought into these types of images, then it'll be much easier to travel. So let's say this is the Jamaat, and the ascension, the spiritual ascension, happens as we stand for the prayer, and then we are taken back into traveling through time and space, through, let's say, the clouds and the mountains, and then arriving in the olden times in the blessed city of Medina al-Munawwara. And you can see like this is what the masjid would have looked like in those times. Maybe you can even also focus, as one of the Ustad mentioned, on one aspect but go deep. So the heat of the masjid, maybe the sounds that you may have heard in that time, what type of maybe even smells, or what type of scenery in addition to what you can see here. So if you were maybe inside the Ahl Sufa, what would it look like? If you were in the first row, what would it look like? So these are things you can also help to do to focus. In the city of light, again, how would you, this may be one of the paths, like a normal road, just in the outskirts or on the way to the masjid. So you can see there are palm trees, and so this is what maybe the road to the masjid look like. And then inside the masjid, so you imagine and you bring the thought of praying behind it, the teacher, and you can see again some of the imagery, the palm trees. So try and, as we mentioned also, maybe even in here, focusing or bringing the images in a deeper level. So the pillars, that we know that there are different stories with each of the pillars. There are the minbar of the Prophet ﷺ. There's a story with when it was first used, how the tree used to cry out of longing. The tree that used to be used to lean on during the khutbah, and then the minbar was replacing it essentially, and the tree cried, and the whole of Medina and the congregation could hear the tree. So these are all things you can bring to enhance. And then from Medina to Kaaba, and you can see the images here, the praying in front of the olden Kaaba in Makkah Mukarramah, and then from there to Jerusalem, so almost tracing the journey of ascension that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ took. And then from there to Masjid Al-Aqsa, which we mentioned is all of this compound is Masjid Al-Aqsa, and these are almost out buildings or structures built in the area. So this is a dome of the rock, and this is what is called Masjid al-Aqsa itself. And then this is, let's say, an imagery from the perspective. Let's say if you were praying, this is, you can see Masjid al-Aqsa, the dome of the rock, and the surrounding area with date palm, maybe olive trees. And if you have been or haven't been, you can again use these images just to help you focus and help you to travel. Then from Masjid al-Aqsa, like the journey of Miraj, the ascension to the heaven, or to be more accurate, I say that the first sky, and these are like the doors to the first sky. Again, as Ustad mentioned, this is an artist impression. Allah knows best what this looks like, but this is just giving you an image. And many of us, we see these types of images in scientific sci-fi movies and other things. So we already have parts of this in our imagination that we can also bring. And then again, praying in that. So just as a quick summary, we are here and then we travel. We can even begin in Fez, Medina, Makkah, Aqsa, first sky, and then onwards, inshallah. So this is the summary, inshallah. Now we'll begin the Lataif process together.
MashaAllah, Jazakallah. This is just a quick review for everyone, just to refresh, and if anyone missed as well. So a quick refreshing of the review of the whole part. So as soon as, for example, after the Lataif, Ustad, the task will go through each one. So in here, we do a shortened version. So each Latifas, we do at a shorter time period. And the quick transfer, and then inshallah, with the final teacher spiritually, then inshallah, I'll stand up, you follow me, I'll say Allahu Akbar, and then we do the physical namaz here, but spiritually you begin your journey with all these different muqams and steps mentioned, inshallah. So we've got enough time, inshallah. We'll begin. Yeah, inshallah. So everyone should be in the saf now. So don't worry about posture. You can start sitting in tashahhud. They can move your seating position as well if it gets painful, because we won't be long. We'll be starting soon anyway. So you should be able to sit on the ground. It's as though the period you sit for namaz, for example, inshallah. Just give you that.
Bismillah. So bring yourself into the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As mentioned, we'll be doing the preparation amals and then the cleansing of the lataif. So the preparation amals, the first thing is presence. To remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us. Verily He is listening to us, to our inner thoughts, to our words. And He is seeing and present in this gathering. Now we recite the protection amals, Surah Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi, and the three quls, Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq, Qul A'udhu bi Rabbin Nas, 3 times, and then we blow and rub to protect our body. Spiritual and protection in the journey.
So mashallah, as mentioned that there's each segment, the first one, the 7 ones, and the third, the preparation of purification of lataif, and then taking final golden breath, everything disappears. Then transfer, find the teacher. All this will be in a shortened length. Ustad, the task will go through. As soon as we transfer, find the teacher, inshallah, I'll stand up and we'll begin the salah. And you begin the spiritual journey as shown in the presentation, inshallah. So we bring in the 3 thoughts, inshallah. humbleness, shukr, reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then athkars, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, inshallah, begin.
The protection amals, bring the three thoughts.
We'll just gone through them, inshallah. Three thoughts and then the athkars recited, inshallah. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, 3 times Astaghfar, 3 times Durood Sharif, then La Hawla wa la Quwwata illa billah 3 times, and then inshallah Ustad the task will begin with the first one.
So now we imagine the beautiful, blessed, white name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in white in front of us, and as we breathe in, the white light enters the crown and fills our body with light, and as we breathe out, all of the worries, darkness, anxieties leave our body. Breathe in deeply with your mouth and breathe out. So breathe in deeply with your nose and breathe out with your mouth. And now the blessed name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is red. And as we breathe in, the red light enters the latifa in the groin area in the red color. And as we breathe out with our mouth, the darkness leaves from behind the latifa. So we breathe in deeply with our nose filling our lungs and breathe out.
The light is entering through the nose.
The blessed name of Allah is now in the orange color, and as we breathe in, an orange light from the blessed name enters through our nose and into the orange latifa in the navel. And as we breathe out, the darkness from the orange latifa in the navel leaves from behind. The blessed name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now in the yellow color, and as we breathe in, the yellow light enters through the nose into the yellow latifa in the stomach area. And as the yellow light enters and leaves from behind as you breathe out, the blessed name of Allah is now in the green color, and as you breathe in, the green light enters through the nose into the green latifa in the chest near the heart, and as we breathe out, all the darkness and filth is leaving the latifa from behind. The blessed name of Allah is now in light blue color, and as you breathe in, the light blue light enters the latifa, and as you breathe out, the darkness leaves from behind. The blessed name is now in the dark blue color, and as we breathe in, the light enters into the dark blue latifa in the forehead, and as we breathe out, the darkness leaves from behind. The blessed name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in the white, beautiful white color now. And as we breathe in, the light white enters the white latifa in the crown. And as it enters, it cleanses the latifa and the darkness leaves from behind. Now as you breathe in, the white light from the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is entering the body and running through the latifas top to bottom, And with each breath, our body is becoming lighter and lighter, as if disintegrating. Feel your body become lighter and lighter. And begin to construct your spiritual body in front of you, as if looking into the mirror. Even just the outline of the body is sufficient. Now, when you are ready, with the golden breath, transfer your soul into your spiritual body.
The waves are disappearing.
With each breath, the latifas disappear and you become more and more light. The red latifa, the orange latifa, the yellow latifa, the green latifa, the light blue latifa, the dark blue latifa, and now the white latifa. Now you are ready with the golden breath. Transfer your soul into your spiritual body.
Stand up. Repeat it. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا صراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن الصمد لم يلد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا صراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي فمن يكفر بالطاغوت ويؤمن بالله فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله سميع عليم. الله ولي الذين آمنوا يخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور والذين كفروا أولياءهم الطاغوت ويخرجونهم من النور إلى الظلمات أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. So remember, this was only the Nawafil prayer we did. Normally we do not do Nawafil prayer in Jama'ah, but for the purpose of learning and training we had done so. So the Salah, we still got a good 5, 7, 8 minutes before the Azan will be called out. So inshallah, the mic Ustads have, if anyone would like to share their experience, they'd like to share their experience in this Salah now. How was your Salah, the spiritual experience? What muqams, what places did you visit? Then please, maybe start from the right, every one or two person. Just we want to hear from the Salah experience. Any questions, inshallah, we can address after Fajr as well, inshallah. Just every second, third person, give him opportunity. Just briefly, if you mention. Yeah. Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yeah, so my journey today.
Just keep it closer. So
Yeah. So my journey today, I cannot. I try to imagine. Yeah. So
See, the first thing, can I just say that this is the first thing we say in the first day, is use the power of imagination. But really, it's not your imagining. It is actually a meditative journey you are doing. You simply accept and go with the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, please continue.
Okay. So when I transfer, yeah. So I feel it's success, and I believe, and I cannot find the teacher.
Okay.
Yeah. So and after that, I feel my body when we stand for salah. I feel my body very light. I have no control on my body. Yeah. But I cannot imagine the place. I try to imagine, but I cannot imagine.
I think the confusion with yourselves is you still trying to decide for yourself what type of experience am I doing.
Maybe. Yeah.
So maybe it's the lesson from the first day.
Yeah.
You are not understanding, or you're not letting it go. You want to still now want to decide for me what type of experience it is. What we're saying is it will be an experience, but let it yourself flow and then see what experience.
Oh.
You held yourself back as a result.
Okay.
And that you should not do.
Okay.
That you should not do. That, whatever happens, just let it flow. Believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, trust in the teacher, and let it go. And then when you experience, then you can revert towards all, I did this, I think I imagined. We say, no, it's no imagination. You carry on. We'll tell you, mashallah.
Okay.
So the initial signs are, mashallah, that your soul spirit wants to travel and experience, but you're holding it back.
Okay.
You say, no, I want to understand what's going on. And the spirit say, no, do not worry about understanding, let's go.
Okay.
But you say, no, I don't want to go. So you basically holding yourself back.
Okay.
So next time we do any session, just let it flow and you see a success, inshallah. Because
Inshallah.
your body was ready, is light, your spirit is ready, but yourself is holding it back now.
But I cannot find the teacher.
Yeah, for that, inshallah, simply you have to know who the teacher is, and again, just see the image in front of you of the
I
teacher.
tried a few times, and I think one time I find it,
Yes.
but I lost it again.
Yeah, I think the problem is the same issue we had, because you now again when you say teacher, you think a spiritual being coming and saying, "Let's go, my brother Abdul Rahman." Simply, you try to imagine the teacher and then let's go again. Let it flow, rather than again you deciding for
I
yourself.
think one time he hold my hand, yeah, I was flying, very full speed, yeah, and again I lost it.
Yeah, that happens because you're getting used to the process. But because you have too many of your own like blockage, self-imposed blockages, you say, no, I only do it at my own terms. And unfortunately, you do it at the terms of Allah how He wants you to do.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay, Jazakallah.
I can try it on myself.
Yeah, no, this
alone,
Fajr Salah we'll be doing now. So literally, if you don't do wudu, do your sunnah, do the process of cleansing again, in a short ones. Normally we do a longer one, you sit down for 1 hour every day or every 2 days. Before Salah, you do it very quickly. Transfer, do your sunnah prayer like this, then you Fajr prayer. Then you see the difference, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah.
Yeah?
Jazakallah khair.
Okay, maybe one more. I think we've got a couple of minutes. Just maybe brother, this brother here.
Alhamdulillah, it went all well. I'd done the transfer. I visualized standing in a saf I think it was in Medina. I could see the sand.
MashaAllah.
So that's all I could visualize. I didn't
So
go
you
anywhere
physically
else.
felt you were there in that environment.
Yeah, I felt I was in the saf. I could see the sand. I couldn't see beyond.
Okay, mashallah. And you carried on your namaz whilst
Carried
there.
on the namaz whilst I was there.
Mashallah. That's already also experienced that you felt the desert and the heat.
Yeah.
And this is starting. So I want you to do exactly as you did, transfer by your own self now. And you do your sunnah and fajr. And you see the difference in fajr prayer.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Brother next to you. Just one more and then we finish.
Similar to what I experienced in the first instance, dark lights followed by light, which was then overwhelmed by the darkness.
And then after transfer,
I didn't transfer again.
but did you not try to transfer as we explained and see the
I created
masjid?
an image, a spirited image of myself for this time around, and then I did the golden breath, but I didn't experience anything.
Again, similar to what we said to Brother Abdul Rahman, yeah, there might be, like you said, issues and darknesses, but at the same time, we rely on the fadl, the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here again, use this initial power of the meditative journey, the imagination, and let yourself flow. You're holding yourself too much back. Especially for Fajr Salah, I would like to experience, I would take another feedback and let us know how that was. So you imagine those, take the literal word as we're saying and let it go. Don't hold yourself back. Don't have any other questions. I don't care. I don't want to let go and experience. Then you see the difference happening. Inshallah. I just go to that elder, inshallah. Then we finish.
MashaAllah, I never experienced a prayer like that. I felt I was with the Creator all alone.
MashaAllah.
It was so clear. Never in my life.
So after transfer, which muqams did you find yourself? Did you see in masjid?
It was just going through, and I didn't realize that I was with the Creator alone, which I had never.
In His presence, yes.
In His presence, yeah.
Yeah, mashallah.
I was just alone, and that's all that stayed with me.
So how was that experience of prayer? And the first day you asked the question, remember that you want? Can you see?
It's huge difference. I achieved what I wanted to achieve in the when I asked.
So now, inshallah, the task for yourself is do the again lataif, the purification, transfer, find the teacher, and with the teacher now physically, see that you actually going to a muqam like the Masjid al-Nawawi, stay there, then with Imam, do sunnah prayer there as well, and then inshallah stay in that state. Don't talk to people on the left or right. Just stay in the saf, fully concentrated, and if your soul is still traveling, let it travel. And then find yourself behind the Imam, let's say behind the old Makkah Kaaba Sharif, do your prayer there. Right. Do that and see the difference, inshallah, as well. You see more lights, more anwarat, guidance, and experiences increasing from what you have, inshallah. So from now on, just stay in the saf, do transfer, do sunnah, and just stay there and experience, inshallah, in Fajr prayer as well. And before every other salah, we should do it like so. Come early, prepare, transfer, and then inshallah. Okay, Jazakallah.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الصلاة خير من النوم الصلاة خير من النوم الله أكبر الله أكبر لا
practice and the adhkars which he sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the companions to do. So like we did yesterday morning and the evening. So so as we said yesterday, we have this Masnoon Adhkar book, and the reward and the benefit and the virtues are immense. It is impossible, I would say, to even actually count the number of an amount of blessing and benefit there are in those books and in those recitals. So let me just read one virtue of one of them. So for example, there are many verses which mention in the book, and also many ahadith, du'as to be recited in the morning and in the evening. So there's a very short dua amongst the collection of du'as to recite in the morning from the ahadith. This one of them goes something along the lines of Ya Rabbi lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhika wa azimi sultanik. Ya Rabbi lakal hamdu. So slowly recite with me, inshallah, you get the reward as well. Ya Rabbi lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhika wa azimi sultanik. So the meaning is, O my Lord, all praise be to you as it can appropriate to your supreme being and grand sovereignty. Now listen to the virtues of this, what you have recited. You do it 3 times anyway, we'll recite it a couple of times. The mother of the believers, Sayyida Jawariya radiallahu anha, once says, the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam left her house. So this is the hadith continuing, so mentioned in the second part of it. Sayyidina Umar bin Abdullah bin Umar reported that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, a servant of Allah who says, O my Lord, all praise be to you as it can appropriate to your supreme being. And this dua they recite. This was too much for the 2 angels to record. They did not know how to record it, so they soared to the heavens and said, O our Lord, your servant has said something which we do not know how to record. Allah asked them, and of course he knew what the servant had said, but still to make it evident, what did my servant say? He said, my Lord, all praise belong to you as much as benefits your glory and sublime majesty. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to them, write down as my servant has said, until he should meet me, and I will reward him for it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would directly reward him for reciting this. Such a weighty and valuable that even the blessed angels, they do not know what figure, what to write about the virtue and the reward of this recital you did. So imagine that, we may be doing 100 times tasbih, our own code. MashaAllah, it's still good. I'm never neglecting that. As opposed to reciting this 3 times. No wonder, the true awliya who follow the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, outwardly, this is all outward, the tazkiyah course is all outward, the purification organs, this is all outward, as well as the spiritual, the inner. No wonder with it seems little effort they reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so easily. It's because they've got the gold mines. They know where to dig and find gold. And what we're doing, we're digging coal and sand. So obviously there will be, rich people and they know where to find things. And these are some of the things mentioning, for example. So again, recite with me one more time. Ya Rabbi lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhika wa azimi sultanik. Ya Rabbi lakal hamdu kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhika wa azimi sultanik. MashaAllah, congratulations that the angels are now bewildered. They're going up there in the heavens, saying that we have issue one person. Now we got all this group of people reciting this. So imagine that you got the angels busy now, MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. So there are many others, and I believe I'm trying to reiterate what Ustad have mentioned. I want to quote the hadith, so I'm just going to find it. We actually have a book as well. We sell it free of charge just for the cost price. Maybe the Masjid community will have some in the future as well. Once you find out the virtues of the book, I said, I do never want to leave this book alone. I want to always read it and get all this reward and blessings. And so another one I think is mentioned here, but I think is very powerful. I want to just to leave as a parting gift, because as we were leaving, that regarding the Durood Sharif, I'm sure Ustad have mentioned. Again, it said that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam have said, whoever will invoke 10 times Durood, the blessings upon me in the morning and in the evening will attain my intercession on the day of resurrection. Tabarani reported. So if you just, how long would it take to recite Durood Sharif, Durood Ibrahim and others? 10 times in the morning, 10 in the evening. That's it. You can, like I said yesterday, whilst you're walking and doing other things, other duties and other work, you can recite this. It's not a hard deal. But if you make that into your adat, as your habit, then imagine, you hear the shair, the poet, and mashallah, our Imam was saying many virtues and poetry and how to, get closeness to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and so on. And he was saying the virtue of descending to Durood, and inshallah you will do the ziyarah to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But if also as part of that, if someone actually does amal and does this practice of sunnah in the morning and evening, knowing there's a practice of sunnah and it's a recommendation, then look what he is in store for him in this life and in the hereafter. That Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would do intercession for him. Then that's why our hope of salvation then goes quite high. Because we have all these checks and balances in place and very easy actions that if you actually adopt them, then inshallah, a chance of fall, a chance of failure is a lot less. So inshallah, we should put that into our practice. 10 times Durood Sharif doesn't take that long. In the morning and in the evening, inshallah. So inshallah, we begin reciting Durood Sharif once, and then we recite all the other azkars. Surah Al-Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi, 3 Quls, Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Falak Nas, and few other azkars. We finish this aspect, and then we'll continue with the feedback. We like feedback for the spiritual prayer we did before Fajr and in Fajr as well, how you experienced, and also we like feedback from your muraqabah dua we did last night. Remember, we spent a good 45 minutes connecting and conversing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We'd like to feedback how the experience was as well, inshallah. And there we'll finish for breakfast, and inshallah we'll go rest for a short time as well. Ready for the next session, around, we'll mention the time, inshallah. Okay, so Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Just always with this, have 3 keys in mind. Allah is with me, Allah is seeing me, Allah is hearing me, Allah is seeing me. And as though you're sending durood and salam, and recite with the heartfelt. If it helps to concentrate, close your eyes, then that's fine, inshallah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi Muhammad. كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آله محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. So we shall continue for 9 more times and then other adhkars. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل إبراهيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب آمين. ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وخلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي فمن يكفر بالطاغوت ويؤمن بالله فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله سميع عليم. الله ولي الذين آمنوا يخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور والذين كفروا أولياءهم الطاغوت يخرجونهم من النور إلى الظلمات أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وإن تبدوا ما في أنفسكم وتخفوه يحاسبكم به الله فيغفر لمن يشاء ويعذب من يشاء والله على كل شيء قدير. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما كسبت. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا وأخطأنا ربنا لا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا لا تحمل ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. شهد الله أنه لا إله إلا هو والمؤمنون قائما بالقسط لا إله إلا هو العزيز الحكيم إن الدين عند الله الإسلام. حسبي الله لا إله حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو حسبي الله حسبي الله لا إله إلا 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 الله فسبحان الله حين سبحان الله سبحان الله الحمد بالسماوات والأرض يخرج الحي من الميت يخرج الميت من الحي ويخرج بعض الموتين قل ادعوا الله أو ادعوا الرحمن أيما تدعوا نقول الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك أفحسبتم أنما خلقناكم عبثا وأنكم إلينا لا ترجعون فتعالى الله الملك الحق لا إله إلا هو لا شريك له ويدعو عليه لنا ونهان له به فإنما حسب إنه لفن كفرا وقل رب يغفر الحمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم حميم تنزل الكتاب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم حميم تنزل الكتاب من العليم غابر زمين قبل الكتاب شديد الكتاب التاور حميم تنزل الكتاب من العليم غابر زمين قبل الكتاب شديد الكتاب التاور الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات والأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وخلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يكن له ما خلق فرغات قيل ذرك لنا في الآسات في الأنقى حاسة قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من جنة الناس رضيت بالله ربا ومسلم دينا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم رضيت بالله ربا ومسلم دينا رضيت بالله ربا ومسلم دينا بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء من الأرض بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء من الأرض بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء من الأرض اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت توكلت على العرش العظيم ما شاء الله كان ولا ما شاء الله حول ولا قوة إلا بالله أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله رب العالمين اللهم إني أسألك خير هذا اليوم فتحه ونصره ونوره وبركاته وهداه وأعوذ بك شر ما فيه وشر ما بعده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. This recital I just did now at the end. Subhanaka ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. It is very powerful. It is said that any gathering you do, be it a religious gathering or a social gathering or gathering amongst your friends, every gathering will be a means of despair in the Yawm al-Qiyamah, in the hereafter. It means of loss, a sense of loss and despair and a waste. Except that which in a gathering where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not mentioned. So imagine any gathering you do, be it one-to-one, talking on the phone to someone, or having discussions with your family or friends, or with your colleagues, with your work colleagues, or in the masjid gathering. If Allah and His Rasul is not mentioned, then this gathering is counted as a waste, which might count against you. But if anyone does this dua at the end of any gathering, any sitting, be it a social one or religious one, then any mistake you have done in this gathering while you're talking, especially if you've been heedless in remembering Allah and His Prophet, then this dua becomes a compensation for all the mistakes in that gathering, especially not remembering Allah and His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is also a very powerful dua that you should do. Even if you're not doing dua, do you do at the end? Because it's not always possible in a social gathering. Always decide that even to yourself, then at least you're excused, you're compensated for that, inshallah. So also these are the du'as mentioned in the Azkar's book. And it's so powerful that, you're always getting the bonus points by reciting this throughout the day. But we need to learn and we need to know and practice, inshallah. So now, inshallah, feedback and any question as well at the end, inshallah. So if people who have given feedback so far, that's good. We want us to go through swiftly. We've changed the order, of course, of how they sat in the saf, which is fine. So, Brother Mashan, you mentioned, were you, brothers, participating in namaz, spiritual namaz? Okay, that's fine. Brother, next to Brother Wais, were you there for salah? Okay. So that's the, that's the other thing that we ask people to stay in the masjid so that we do not miss any sessions as such. No, I understand we were at Chab. I'm saying generally we so much importance is because of this. MashaAllah. Brother Shaukat. So spiritual salah we did before Fajr and if there's anything in Fajr as well.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Before Fajr, we started at the Haram. So the Sab.
So before,
So this is the.
if you can a bit more mention. So basically, we did Lataif, you transferred.
Yeah. So I've transferred.
Yeah.
Like do pretty fast, pretty quick.
MashaAllah.
Saw all obviously colors. Transferred, did the golden breath. And I see the Sab. We're doing Tawaf.
Hadrat Shaykh Ahmed
Yeah,
Dabbar.
Sheikh Ahmed Dabbar. And then I see a brother.
So
on my
you
left.
travel straight away to Kaaba Sharif.
Yeah, straight away.
Okay.
And I see brother Cheng is sitting next to me, Ghulam.
One of the brothers. Okay.
Yeah. And there's another brother on my right, so they were with me.
Acha,
And
mashallah.
also see, Alhamdulillah, Ustad Abdul Rahim.
Okay, mashallah.
And we were all in Irham.
Okay.
And then another Sab gives up some water to drink. So we coming in a line, taking the water, taking some sips. And then all of a sudden we transferred to Medina. And then the Sab says, before we go to Medina and Haram, they said, shall we go now? Are you ready? We say, we are ready. Then they are leading the Jamaat. We're reading behind them in the old Medina Sharif. And then from there, literally, it just kind of wears away.
Ji, mashallah.
And then just Salah finished.
So let me mention the last part. It wasn't very audible, sorry. If you mention the last part again.
We went to Medina Sharif.
Yeah, after that. So you mentioned
Then
that.
then it just wears away then. It just kind of...
Oh, withered
Yeah,
away.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, that part I didn't hear.
Yeah.
So were you able to give salam in Rawda or old Medina Sharif? Were you able to see that?
No, just doing
Even the
Jamaat.
current Medina
Yeah.
Sharif as it is now?
Yeah.
Okay, mashallah. That's still blessed. So mashallah, as you can hear, the brother in Salah we were praying, but he was in doing Tawaf in Kaaba Sharif with obviously our Shaykh, our teacher and fellow brothers in this gathering and our Ustad, for example, Ustad Abdul Rahim. So these are the type of Salah. Imagine if you're doing that type of Salah, then where's Shaitan and where's his shaitanic tricks? They're very weak. And my khushan khudu is not even a question anymore. And I'm actually traveling and journeying and doing miraj of my salah, inshallah. So these are some of the things we are trying to highlight last night, inshallah. Brother Bilal?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
My name is Bilal, I'm from Bolton. So during the Lataifs...
This is your first retreat you're attending?
G.
Okay.
So during the Lataifs for the spiritual prayer, I felt some heaviness around the back, especially the last three Lataifs. So the red, the orange and yellow. I didn't pretty much feel anything from the top onwards.
Okay.
But yeah, during the prayers...
So you managed to transfer?
G. I felt that as though I was transferred. Every time I transfer, as though I feel two hands. One, I believe, is our teacher. The other one, I'm not too sure. Once I've done the transfer again for Salatul Fajr.
So if you want to mention, going with this first one, you transferred and then what happened in the before Fajr one?
I'll try to just imagine.
No, yeah, that's fine, and that's the mistake we always make. We know that because that's the process how you're going to begin. But what happened in that? You just mentioned your experience, inshallah.
I went to Medina Sharif.
So the old one or the new one mentioned, describe these things as well.
The old one. I tried to imagine that as I was leading our teacher. But after that, I kept on losing concentration, but then trying to find our teacher again. And then sometimes I would think, oh, they're in the first heaven, so I would try and follow them then. So that's what I was trying to do, keep on top of it.
Okay, mashallah. And then in Fajr?
I try, when I try to transfer for Salat al-Fajr, when I do my 2 sunnats, it was on and off in terms of, then again I felt the 2 hands holding me and taking me. But at one point I could feel that we were praying on top of the skies, just on top of the skies, and it's like a clear glass, and we're doing sujood there. It's like as though we were traveling at the same time. After that, during the Fard prayer, then again I tried to imagine Medina Sharif and everything else.
So this is actually a meditative spiritual journey. Although the way your mind understands is imagination, but it's not. That's why I said don't use that word anymore. You just mention as you are. Because it's a journey taking place. Because obviously you've been doing Salah all your life. You've never said that to me before. Obviously, no, we met. So it is an indication of something far greater, inshallah. So just trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the teacher what they've been showing, inshallah. Yeah. Yeah, carry on.
Also after the Salah, when the Imam was mentioning, was praying salawat upon Rasulullah, I felt that I should concentrate again, so I closed my eyes. And as though, again, those 2 hands, one which was Hazrat Sahib and another one, I'm not too sure who it was, as though it's time to see Rasulullah. And then so I started weeping and crying.
MashaAllah.
Then again, they tried to push me and take me inside. And
in Medina Sharif.
And as though some golden gates opened up, and light came from it. Personally, I was holding myself back because I thought I wasn't ready, and crying and weeping and asking forgiveness from Rasulullah and asking them to forgive me for my shortcomings. And that's it, really.
So I would say, mashallah, Mubarak. Obviously, it's because of your own shyness or embarrassment that he did not proceed further. But this was like as though you've been introduced to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, like I was saying in the presentation, where's the brother? Yeah, I think yourself were mentioning that I was going to do this specifically Muhammad, the Muraqabah Muhammadiyah. Although we are not doing in this retreat, but like you hear that if someone is sincere and follows the course of action, then someday he is blessed anyway. And majority of the time this happens in our gatherings, when we do retreat. So as you can hear that, mashallah, initially, although mashallah, I know him from Bolton, well, in the spiritual retreat and this setting is the first time he's come. He's also a businessman, he runs 2 businesses on his own and he's usually quite busy as well. So he took time out to come. So I was really happy to hear that he came, mashallah. And like you saying about the lataif and the struggles, and these are the part of the cleansing. So the good thing that you can take from, that there are some things there in my life, but and we've given you a course of action for that. But as you're doing the lataif, it shows that it's purifying it from whatever things that were holding you, the weight or the burden was holding you down, that was purifying it. And then obviously you see the hand of the teacher themselves were giving extra compassion and taking you. Normally when we say imagine the teacher, people are lost, or I don't know where the teacher is, or I don't know what to imagine. In your case, they were showing extra more compassion. They actually literally coming like this and grabbing hold of your hand and say, let's go. And other could be like an angel or Allah knows better. It's like both, 2 hands are taking you towards the journey and spiritual journey. And initially, the first one, there was a slight, getting used to the whole scene and transferring, and then your mind is playing. Oh, is it imagination only or what? And we say just ignore that, carry on. And now you carried on, mashallah, as you were explaining, you had some experience of transfer, especially in the Salat al-Fajr and in the Salawat afterwards. Remember some of the points we mentioned, that if you have a spiritual experience and if you're very sincere, even afterwards you feel the effects. And that brother, he never actually returned, Brother Bilal, mashallah. He actually again reconnected very quickly, and he saw he was with a teacher again, we're taking him. And he wasn't even expecting. He went to Rawda Sharif through the golden chamber and the golden mesh, and he was right in the close proximity of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is himself, he decided, I don't want to meet them yet because I'm too embarrassed. Which is fine, which is understandable. Anyone would, how can I see them because of my own state? Which is good, mashallah. But now this is like an opening you've had. If you really work on it, then you'll see many, many doors are opening, especially the ziyarah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Like, mashallah, the Imam Sahib was mentioning, theoretically, if you recite this, if you do this Durood Sharif, then, you have opening. So it was theoretical. But here, the reality is taking place by coming to the retreat. We can hear this, and mashallah, many brothers have heard this again and again, reciting those verses of Surah Tawbah. And like Abu Bakr Shibli was mentioning, he used to recite, and he had the vision of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Kasrat, like very frequently recite the Sharif. These are generic advice and very good advice, and you should try that. But what difference this and someone is now spiritually experiencing? I'm telling you something, maybe I am experiencing or not, Allah knows best. But as I'm saying generally, you're experiencing it. So, that's the fadila of, mashallah, our teacher, mashaykh, how we can take you to the next level, next step. Not just leave it at the theoretical level, for you to explore what's going on, inshallah. So I would say finally again say Mubarak, mashallah, Jazakallah for sharing your experience. And this is what we would like to hear from everyone. Even if you're not having it or struggling, then inshallah we can look into that as well, inshallah. Brother, you want to say anything? Yourself? Gigi, one. Gigi. Sorry, if the people at the back, because of the chair in front of us, I can't see who's at the back. So if you want to make yourself available, that's good, inshallah. Ji.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.
Alhamdulillah, brother. When we're doing spiritual prayer with you, I couldn't really get into connect it, but you did give me an indication that we do it in Fajr namaz. Mm-hmm. So alhamdulillah, in second rehat, when the Imam was doing his, I managed to sort of listen to his Surah al-Bukhara, is it? Which one? Surah? He was reciting a surah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, alhamdulillah. And I was following him, and suddenly I just went to the, my mind diverted into old Medina Sharif. Mashallah. And while I was walking in one side, it's all these mountains, black mountains. There's no road, and I was just wondering, where is the water? Where is going to be the water? So that wasn't my thought that, my God, the distance is like so far, and it was no roads or no sign of any houses. Just walking through, and I'm saying, well, this is a part where I can see where people walk, and I was just walking there, and then I reconnected to the Imam Sahib, back to the.
So you alone in that journey, or with someone?
I was alone at that time.
So, inshallah, if you actually really work on the way that you see a teacher is with you, then that journey you do alone, which you saw desert terrain and mountain and ranges, and you're trying to discover yourself. How am I going to carry on this journey? Such a long journey, it seems. Where's the water? Where's the provisions? This question comes really when you're actually doing this journey by yourself, like you experienced. Now, only thing you can accelerate all this and fast track it all. And the easy solution that is, if you actually actively look for the teacher, then you find all this journey you don't have to do even. The teacher takes you straight away there. And that's the benefit of having a teacher spiritually as well. So he fast tracks and accelerates all this. Or else it might take a year, you're still wandering in the desert. And you think, oh, this is getting very tiresome. So that's why we say again and again. So we're mentioning again in different angles. So for you to appreciate what the role of the teacher is and how they actually facilitate this journey towards the barakah of Rasulullah and the spiritual journey of Miraj, inshallah. So mashallah Mubarak, I would say, because you have experienced Medina Sharif and saw the scenes which you never would have contemplated in the past. Is that correct? Yeah, so mashallah, mubarak to you. Something that you can work on now to build your castle as well, inshallah, based on this. Okay? Brother next to you, inshallah, yourself. Okay, that's fine. Yourself. I've not heard, no, brother here, next to you, here. I've not heard any feedback from yourself, so.
Assalamu alaikum. This is the first time
your name is?
My name is Asad, I'm from Woki.
Okay.
It's the first time I was doing the spiritual salah.
First time in the retreat as well?
It's the second time on a retreat.
Okay.
Yeah, again I did it without the teacher, I forgot to...
Okay, that's fine, that's part of the learning process.
Yeah, I found myself in Makkah Sharif, at the Kaaba. So, the old Makkah Sharif, so I could see the sand.
Sometimes you don't realize, but teacher is there.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes you don't know they're there, but they're there. But sometimes you actively realize. Why we say actively you should, because then it helps you the journey easier. And it removes all the, like you said, obstacles and feeling lost and, feeling like wandering around. All this is cut out when the teacher is there. But sometimes extra compassion, like the brother Bilal is saying, you're already there because, it's like, for example, when you sit inside like a cabin, let's say plane, you just sat there in a box. You don't see anything happening. But what's happening is plane is taken very fast to, let's say, another country, another continent. But if you at that moment ask, where are you going? I don't know, I'm just sitting in a box. And they say we find them 5,000 feet away, but I don't feel it.
It's like a first time experience for me because the ascensions, I didn't feel anything at all. So this time around I did feel something.
So in the spiritual prayer before Fajr, you found yourself in Kaaba Sharif. Yeah. So mention how the scene was and how the feeling was and so on.
It was like the scene of old Makkah Sharif, so I could see the sand, so the Khana Kaaba out in the desert as opposed to as it is at the moment. So I could see like the old style bricks on the Khana Kaaba.
Yeah, mashallah. Yeah. Okay. And what are you doing? Just namaz or doing tawaf or?
Just namaz.
Okay, doing namaz, mashallah. That's beautiful. And have you managed to observe anything else, the scene? Do you remember?
No.
Okay. So that in itself is, mashallah, very beautiful experience. Imagine that you can every time transfer, do your namaz in front of Kaaba. If you see the clip or the live footage of the Kaaba Sharif, have you seen the tussle and the fight that goes on, trying to be in the Hatam area or near the Kaaba, trying to do namaz, or even kiss Hajar Aswad. You had easy access. You could have kissed Hajar Aswad if you wanted to. Maybe you can do next time, inshallah, spiritually. Inshallah. MashaAllah. Did you hands up? MashaAllah. No, in front of you. Yeah, this way. Jazakallah, thank you.
Rahim. Brother, I tried to transfer it with the golden breath, but it didn't happen.
What didn't happen? That's the question I'm asking. What didn't happen? Are you going to decide that for yourself?
Couple of nights. I mean, I've been in retreat for the last 2 nights, and the first night, the beautiful dreams.
Now inshallah, we'll deal with that. Here, when you say it didn't happen, it sounds like you know what you're doing, and it didn't work out this time.
It was distraction, and it was not concentrations. And
okay, distraction is a possibility.
I did feel myself quite light, and it was very spiritual.
Okay.
In the Salah and both the ascension as well. And I could see the light and the nur, and I could feel myself different. I was not the same person I was.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, so there's definitely a
big change. And when you did the Lataif practices, different colors, how were they?
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to focus, and I could feel that the light was red. And
so you managed to see the red, the orange, the yellow, the green.
And then the dirt was coming out from the back, as you're describing the tubes. So as I was inhaling, the red light was illuminated, and then the dirt was coming out as I was exhaling. So alhamdulillah, it was a very good experience, and it was quite radiant.
MashaAllah. Yeah. I think you have learned the process, how the lataifs are done, how transfer. From what you are saying, it sounds to me that you've understood the process and you know how to do it, and you are doing it. Yeah. So that in itself is a good, because you can practice that now anytime. Yeah. And although you said you had interference this time, but even then there was a compassion from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you felt something different, anuras and light. That's an indication. I think I was mentioning yesterday to someone that, the spirit maybe have never experienced the spiritual, the realm. What happens is in these retreats and gathering, you have a first exposure of this. So imagine when a baby is born into this world. I think I mentioned last night this. And for the first time, the baby opens its eyes and it gets dazzled by all this lighting, like, lighting in the ceiling, lighting around them, lighting of some, faces of people, all the objects you see. Imagine that you never seen these things before. So when you see it, it doesn't make any sense to you. Only thing is like you see flashes of light and so on. Can you imagine that scene of a baby or someone who's blind and they gain their sight for the first time? For them, they might have heard mobile phone but never seen. How can they understand what a rectangle is if they've never seen a rectangle before? Just think about it. Likewise, spiritually, when for the first time you're experiencing something, it doesn't make much sense to you. You can see the only thing you can see is just like all fuzzy and phased. They're like flashes of light. So that is indicating that you're not getting used to the spiritual journey and the spiritual realm. So that in itself is a good sign, mashallah, you would say, Mubarak, because now if you work on it, especially, for example, you do the muraqabah after the breakfast and rest, and then salah and so on, then inshallah you should be able to see the difference. Inshallah. Sidi Ilyas wants to shed some light of guidance. Ji?
He wasn't here last night, but I think it should be clarified by the teacher. Should we be focusing on Allah in the Salah? He's a little bit uncomfortable about focusing on creation, on the soul.
Is that brother participating in the retreat? Yeah, I think maybe he missed our presentation then. As he missed a presentation. See, that's the thing. Sorry, I don't want to reiterate again and again. We say at the beginning, the condition is you stay 2 days in the retreat, and you learn the theoretical and the practical aspect. If you miss one thing, I have to do something. In this case, you have to go because of an urgent, whatever situation he's in. May Allah Ta'ala help him and guide him and alleviate whatever situation he finds himself in. But then sometimes what happens, you missed a vital piece of information. And so in the presentation, we discussed some of these things. Different types of salah we discussed. We discussed, the certain salah takes to hellfire. So now, tell that brother, how come you're doing a salah for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but this salah is taking to hellfire? So is Allah being unjust? Na'udhu billah? Of course not. It's because it's our state of being what we are doing. So we actually spent a good, an hour lecture on this yesterday. And if someone were there, mashallah, on the whole, people understood what we were meant to achieve. Even these mukams, I know people and awliya, these mukams are not very good thing, are not very high thing for them anymore. It comes to a stage where you're going to, like for example, first heaven, second heaven, it's just another creation for me. I'd rather be in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like we had one elder there. He was in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala straight away. He didn't even see any of the mukams. And he was so happy that he never experienced, and he thinks, mashallah, he found his answer. He found, his success, what he came for. So for some people, this is the nature, alhamdulillah. But everyone, you have to cater for the nature of how they are. And that doesn't mean that we neglect these mukams. They're not of no significance. There are, of course. So why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed Sayyidina Adam in the first heaven, if the first heaven has no value? Why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala descending in a manner that suits His Majesty in the first heaven at Tahajjud time? So these things have significance. The only thing is, it actually helps the nature and the tabiat of the people, and so for them to guide them and help them along the way to become connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because remember, yesterday we say, ultimately in the muraqabah dua, we explained, ultimately what we're doing, we actually trying to connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still exists. He existed when we were not created even. With all his sifat, or all his qualities, with him being himself, his zat, with all his sifat, he existed exactly as he is now. As we sat down in the masjid talking about him, remembering him, he still exists. There's no change in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that sense. Change happens to us, the creation. In the qabr, he's still the same Lord. In the day of judgment, he's still the same Lord, same presence. Nothing changes there. in Jannah, in paradise, we will discover and see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessed countenance and face. So we, raise and rise and, go in a higher spiritual state. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is still the same. So we can still be sat here, feel the presence of Allah right here and now. Allah is with me, Allah is hearing me, Allah is seeing me. And this, even remember what we practiced last night in Muraqabah Dua, that you don't have to wait till Qiyamah, or you don't have to wait till Ramadan or do Hajj to seek forgiveness. Allah is here, He's waiting to accept us, to listen to us now, every moment until we die. So for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the deal is very easy. It's us that we need certain motivation, certain mind frame, certain time, certain state of ourselves to come into it so that we benefit from. And that's why we try to manipulate, we try to enhance in this retreat so that we always engage to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in different forms. Be it in prayer, be it in muraqabah, be it in dua, be it in supplication, be it in sleep as well. Someone was joking, are you going to do muraqabah sleep to me? Not to me, to someone they're discussing. I said, to be honest, there is something as muraqabah sleep as well that you benefit from. Like Ustad Tasi was mentioning, if you take certain precautionary course of action before sleep, then your spirit really travels, goes to, in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and remembers Allah amongst the angels. But if you sleep in a very disgusting, dirty way, filthy way, then also visit someone else, devils and shayateens. And that's why you have nightmares sometimes as well. No, I'm only saying, but it could happen for other reasons. But nightmares and all these things are minimized if you sleep in a certain way and take certain precautionary action as well. Then it doesn't affect you as much. But that's not our topic, today, inshallah. But yeah, Jazakallah for your question. I really appreciate that as well, Sidi Ilyas. But that's why important is when you do, inshallah, participate, then try to be fully committed, except barring any circumstances that it's beyond your control. Then Allah Ta'ala help you and bless you in this regard as well. I really want to go through people who've not asked before, because many people have multiple opportunities, and like brother here and other brothers who are come first time, also give them opportunity as well, inshallah. So brother here at the front here. Yes, wa alaikum assalam.
My experience was in the Fajr Salah.
So if you want to mention the practice Salah and the Fajr.
Yeah, so basically I couldn't make it to the spiritual Salah, so I just did the preps myself.
Okay, because you've had the lecture yesterday.
Yeah. And so I was focused on my spiritual self just before the Imam Sahib started. As soon as I said Allahu Akbar, I transferred, believed that I transferred, and then I found the teacher very quickly. And again, the teacher, when I always transfer, I always imagine the teacher holding my hand. And then we started walking in the new Medina Sharif on the white marble, and then they were showing me the blessed sites, of the Sahaba, that this is so and so's house, it used to be here, etc. And then we travelled to the Kaaba Sharif. Again, we were there momentarily, just walking, and then we, in a sense, flew to Masjid Al-Aqsa, and but we came with a bird's eye view of the whole of the compound, and then next, I felt that we were on the ground going up some steps. So you can see the old marble, not the older brickwork, going walking around, and then suddenly we were elevating up to the first heaven, and we were walking through the arches. Hazrat Sahib was there as well, and there were some angels on my left and my right, and Hazrat Sahib was, in a sense, showing me, oh, that's so and so and that's so and so, and then from there, I felt that also. I started to remember a sin or some sins from the past.
Whilst in the first heaven.
Whilst in the first heaven, yeah. And then again, I tried draw myself back again, remember the teacher, and then I just continued through the salah, and then I just kind of fizzled out.
Mashallah, is this your first experience as well in salah?
In salah, yes.
Yeah. So mashallah, Mubarak, mashallah, I think you have achieved what you meant to achieve in salah. Well, in fact, it's not end, it's a beginning in that sense. But as far as the retreat is concerned, you've seen and tasted. And so you just open beyond from now on. So Mubarak for that. Many things you mentioned and experienced. And as you can see, that if someone just follow this simple prescription that teacher and transfer, don't worry about anything else. Rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and carry on. You see, these are the experience comes. We mentioned generally the pictures, the images in the presentation yesterday and this morning, but the detail, how the detail, brother have mentioned, for example, the stairs, we never mentioned about stairs, the sun and the old brick, we never mentioned the details. So that's the strongest indicator of, just for your peace of mind, is that, this is the part of the spiritual experience. Because before this, you never even contemplated having prayer like this, right? Correct?
Yeah, obviously, I heard about it, but I never.
No, I mean, I'm talking about you. You as an individual, you never contemplated having, that type of prayer until now. And now he's heard, so this is his personal spiritual experience. I would say this is the third level of experience he had. That through the thought, the imagination, and the spiritual experience, inshallah, this was a spiritual experience. Why I tell you something else, another one, so which I was happy with. First heaven, the first sky, like I said, Adam alayhi salam, it resides. And out of the special qualities, do you know what special quality Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam has? Do you know what that is? Is the level of, seeking and through the door of tawbah and returning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a special khas quality he has, because when he came down on the earth, he sought forgiveness. Although it wasn't his fault, the mistake in the eating the forbidden fruit was just out of forgetfulness. Allah is making excuse in the Quran on his behalf. But he still felt embarrassed and remorseful and very sad about it. And he sought tawbah, and Allah Ta'ala forgave and accepted him. So he's got this very special quality of tawab and tawbah. And no wonder when you're in the first heaven, you were thinking about your own life and own mistakes and sins. Because normally we deal with it with purification of the lataif, which we all went through. We went through all this muqam, then we went to the first heaven. But now you're contemplating about your own self, what mistake I've been doing. That's like, you could say, a spiritual knowledge, spiritual blessing being transferred, and the special quality of being in that realm of first heaven and of the blessing of Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam was transferring, which was reflecting about your own life. We've not mentioned that in the presentation. You don't even know about this. Have you heard about this before?
No.
That's why there you go. So what I'm saying is, Alhamdulillah, Mubarak, this was your opening and spiritual experience. Inshallah. I'm going to come to you. There's a brother behind us, I think, is contemplating. No, you brother here.
Assalamu alaikum.
So your name and
Adil from Woking.
You're from Woking as well, mashallah.
So the first one we did, obviously, when we woke up at 5:30. My first time, obviously, I've done it. I transferred quite easily.
Inshallah.
I was with the Hazrat Sahib straight away, holding their hand. And
so here, if people are wondering who's this Hazrat Sahib they're talking about, this is referring to Hazrat Sheikh Ahmed Dabbagh. He just for the love and the respect, we just shorten it by mentioning the name, but indicate Hazrat Sahib, like the very person who is in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our teacher, our Sheikh. So he's referring to that person. Yeah, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we started traveling over straight into the sky. It was like a rocket normally takes off, like a white ball behind us, lifted us up. So we started traveling, went over Masjid Aqsa, into New Medina, and we prayed there, and then straight to Makkah, prayed there, started doing tawaf, and from there it was just white light, and then I just transferred back, obviously Salah ended.
That was in the before Fajr.
Yeah.
And how was the Fajr Salah? Were you
Fajr, I was just with them, so I transferred, and I was just traveling with them in the air, really, just beside them.
Okay. So good, mashallah, Mubarak. This is your first retreat?
I done one last year in Bolton, but
Okay.
spiritual, the Salah's retreat
First time. Okay, so we're not covered in Bolton. So mashallah, I would say Mubarak again, that you yourself is very self-evident to you. And if someone says, brother, does it really happen? For you, no, it's happened, I know.
Yeah.
So it's a self-evident thing that you transferred and experienced. The only thing I would say now, if you adopt the methodology, how we explain this happens, if you apply this before every salah, you'll see by the next time you attend a retreat or next time you meet, you can tell me how your salah has improved or even enhanced or harnessed even beyond this. So I'm actually raising your scope now. I don't want you to stay here. Even that, I want to go beyond that now, inshallah, in terms of getting more and more experience. And then you won't be an issue about, I'm finding it hard to do my namaz, or that there's no love or compassion, there's no love, concentration, devotion in salah. For you, it's not an issue anymore, inshallah. A couple of more, I think the breakfast is ready. So Brother Abdul Rahman and I think Elder as well, yes.
The first rakat, I was in
Fajr Salah now.
Yeah, Fajr Salah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was in Medina, in the old Medina.
Mashallah.
And I could smell the straw on
Mashallah.
the roof. And it's like after rain you can get that.
Yes.
And then somebody said, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is leading the prayer. And then the next thing I saw was I was in Makkah, opposite the Black Stone.
Yes.
And in the second rakat, when I was in sujood, somebody told me, now we are in the first heaven, we are doing sujood.
Mashallah.
That's
So how are you feeling about this experience now? Yeah, mashallah. So like I was saying to the brother here, that now that you've experienced, don't hold yourself back. In every salah, prepare, let yourself flow. And then your ibadat will be awesome, inshallah. Finally, Brother Abdul Rahman, and we go for breakfast, inshallah. Yes, we want to give everyone an opportunity. I can spend all day and night with you, I'm happy, but then it's not fair on the rest, you see. So we'll get a chance to question, inshallah. Maybe in the breakfast as well.
I'm waiting for yesterday. I booked for yesterday for 1 hour.
Yeah, now there's a plan to do so today. No, that's fine. We've got a plan for yourselves to see you, inshallah.
The question is for the Salah, we read for the morning.
Okay.
About this, I want you to help me to understand something.
Yeah, inshallah. That's what we're going to. Inshallah, now we hear the brother first, inshallah, and we'll, inshallah, continue.
Bismillah. Abdurrahman from Woking. The Tahajjud Salah was very powerful. So I was with Hazrat Sab in Old Medina. We were praying in the old mosque, and as we prayed, I could feel the heat. I could feel my sweat. I could feel the gravel. And then from there we went to Masjid al-Aqsa, Dome of the Rock. And then we all ascended to the first heaven. And then I saw Hazrat Bilal radiallahu an, with his massive afro. And he gave salam to me and he gave me a hug. Saying, mashallah, you haven't given up.
Like just on that point, like for example, I've come to this town and we see people of all background, all race here, mashallah, all countries. And then, for example, I met this brother and he found out I'm a Bengali and he was very happy. Oh, I'm a Bengali too. You have a natural connection. So, mashallah, because obviously you have the certain background you're from, you have found natural connection with Sayyidina Bilal radiallahu anhu. So that's a blessing for you, mashallah.
Then from there, I went and sat down in this majlis. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was there. And he had a sword which was orange, he gave to me. And another one which was purple inscription and blue inscription. So I asked, what is this sword?
What was the first sword color?
The first one had orange.
Orange.
Then I asked, what is this one? He said, this one is sword of dawah. I didn't know what the other two is. Then I asked the teacher, our sheikh, where shall we go now? We descended all the way into Jahannam, and I could hear people screaming. I could see people, their heads being bitten off by scorpions. There was a large scorpion, maybe bigger than this room. It was hissing at me. I saw a man hanging upside down by his legs, and his thighs were being dislocated and broken. Then I saw another man lying on the floor. The teacher said, these people don't lower their gaze. He was picking at his face. Fountains of blood were coming out from his eyes. Then I saw another man, he was crawling on the floor, desperate, choking while he was trying to eat something, and he would then try to drink hot water, and his skin was peeling off. And then I saw another man, a snake entered from his mouth, went all the way through his body, came out from the backside. And then finally I saw another person. I was sitting with the teacher and I asked, can I take ijazah? He said, no, we're still staying here. Then a snake, maybe as tall as this room, stood in front of me, and he vomited a human being who was burning in acid. And he said, help me. I said, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Then I asked the sheikh, where shall we go now? He said, I want to take you to the highest heaven. So we went to the highest heaven, and it was black, but then lots of brothers were there, some all-stars were there, Prophet ﷺ was there, and then from the sky, Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani descended, and one of the ustads, I won't mention his name, he was being inaugurated, or it was his celebration into Ahlul Diwan. And then the teacher said to me, this is a lesson for you, because this brother, he started before you. So you need to work on your personal demons. Then with the Fajr prayer as well, this was very emotional for me, because as we started the Fajr prayer, I saw Sayyidina Bilal radiallahu anhu giving the adhan. So I thought, mashallah, these from African descent, and look, he is giving adhan for Prophet ﷺ and others. So he gave the adhan in the old Kaaba as it was. And then the Sheikh took me by myself, and we walked through somewhere I'd never seen before. And then I saw this man, maybe he's 7'5", and a voice came to me, maybe this is Khidr alayhi salam, I don't know who he was.
MashaAllah.
And then I sat there, then in my head I was thinking, we're sitting here, we're not doing anything. So I just sat there, kept quiet. Then Sayyidina Khidr, he stabbed me in the left side here with a sword, and this black thing, like some insect thing, was there. And as he pulled it out, it had attachment to every vein in my body, and I collapsed. Then when I woke up, I was in the lap of maybe Prophet ﷺ, and I reached to touch his face, and it was soft and like pillows, just like the book had said, and that was the end of it.
MashaAllah, very intense and very detailed. So as you can see, that we never even touched upon the Jahannam side, but he was taking to Jahannam for lesson for every one of us here, especially certain sins we do, just a reminder. Look, there's the other side of it as well. If you think you're going to fool yourself, yeah, I'm going to the masjid and retreat, but then go back to your life and do your old evil stuff in secret or in open, then this is the other side of it as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is most compassionate, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also very severe in punishment, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not affected by the emotions like we are affected by. He can objectively punish or decide for us what was to happen. So very few things, there are many things mentioned, few things, punishment is, for example, like this man hanging upside down. In fact, what's really happening, maybe you've not seen, is his private parties he's actually hanging from as well on the tree. And these are the people who do zina, who commit adultery, fornication outside marriage or before marriage. For them, this is the punishment shown. Are people who actually are struggling with that side of things, with the issues with the women and the modesty and so on, then this is a warning for every one of us that this will be your end. Another one is shown that the snake coming out is an indication that people do not control their tongue, and how they destroy their own life and people's life through the tongue, and become like a big serpent. And in people who do with their hands as well, the desire to fulfill with the hands, that's a result of disgusting children are being born as a result. This is reality, is going to happen. In Yawm al-Qiyamah, people will see this, that the hands will be pregnant, they're about to give birth. And why? Because of the evil, the action they did with their hands. Can you imagine a hand is pregnant and walking around? How horrific and disgusting those places are going to be, seeing those acts. And many obviously other things you mentioned. But obviously it's lesson for each one of us here hearing this. That look, these are the weaknesses everyone have, or many people have. You need to be very strong now. Decide today now no matter what, if the whole world goes this way and they basically peel my skin off, I will not do that sin again. I made the intention now. As soon as you do that, then that's the change happening in your life now. That's why this purification, the 5 amals we mentioned, is so important. It's because it saves you from all this which is mentioned and beyond. So in your case, as well as dawah, this yellow sword is indicating so we don't mention the meaning of these colors. The orange is representing your ego, your nafs, and how you try to fulfill it normally. The latifa of the yellow one, the orange one. So you need to, with like a sword, fight it and cut it. That desire, especially if it takes you towards any wrong action or wrong way. Not yourself, I'm just generally mentioning. But because you mentioned as a representative of people who are suffering, so I'm mentioning as such. So that's the sword you should use. Like, look, I've got power given that no matter what the nafs says to me, do this evil, do this sin, and it's overwhelming, I'm going to cut it with that knife, with that sword. And be a man, be a real man of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then obviously the spiritual blessing being to the high heavens. So many of those stars and brothers, they're fellow brothers like you. They're not like scholars. They've not spent years and years in Al-Azhar University and this university. They must learn the basic. They're not the basic, Quran and Hadith and fiqh and mas'ala, but they focus on the tazkiyah, making better themselves and help others and dawah. And look how this brother, like you mentioning, and whoever else, and all those stars here are blessed. And spiritually, they're getting spiritual reward, such a high level that people in the world wouldn't understand what these are. They become like really spiritual warriors. And Allah is using them to benefit others. Imagine their status as a result. Inshallah. Okay, I think the admin team are really frowning upon me now. So I think when we finish for breakfast, I'd like to sit with you in the breakfast and discuss your questions. And we'll continue after in the gathering as well before you leave, inshallah. Yeah, inshallah, we'll discuss with you because they need to go. The breakfast is ready, so they'll be very annoyed at me.
The breakfast is
so
ready.
I can't really hold them for yourself, for the rest of the benefit. So let's have a breakfast and we'll discuss your question, inshallah.
Brothers, after breakfast, the first session...
inshallah, afterwards we get a chance as well, inshallah.
The first session is at 10:15, so you have after breakfast opportunity to rest, freshen up, relax, have some 2-3 teas, and then be here before 10:15 so we can begin the session on time at 10:15 inshallah. Thank you very much.